Buddy, Roger here. I am just ending my trip to Colorado, heading back to Phoenix now, and as you can tell with the scene in the back here, and been keeping up with this whole Candace, Kanye, and actually Brandon Straka thing that just happened recently, with Straka kinda, I guess, supporting Tommy Lauren in the Twitter beef battle and some t-shirt drama. It's been crazy. It's been crazy. But here's the thing I want to go ahead and point out here really quick. If you guys were bought and sold, all you Candace Owens supporters, all you TP USA supporters, Toilet Paper USA supporters, Massa Charlie Kirk, all of you supporters of this group, and you know what, unfortunately, even some of the people that I actually respect as individual content creators, unfortunately, Anthony Brian Logan, you know, he's put out a video basically in a nutshell saying, I'm gonna believe Candace regardless. Because I work with her, or because I support Candace 100% without question. So if you're saying that, you're basically saying that your bias is hindering, or is your personal preference over her is hindering a bias that needs to be out there to begin with. You have to have a bias. I'm sorry, not a bias. Your opinion of her is going to actually be. So what you're saying is that whatever she does, that your support of her is going to supersede any sort of issue that comes out as truth. That goes against Candace, that shows that she's a liar, that shows that she's an opportunist, that shows that she does pander to things, that she goes from one side to another all the time. It just doesn't matter what it is, you're going to support her. That's basically what you said in your last video. So I've lost a little respect for you in that level. Of any person you should be critical of, it's those most closest to you. When you can't even be critical or acknowledge the truth behind certain people, even if they're your direct partner, you know, with, again, you know, you being partners here with TP USA in some form or fashion, and you just literally have to be on their side just because they're with you, there's a lot wrong with that ideal right there. We don't make progress when we defend and try to hold secret actions of others that do affect the whole group entirely. So that's the other thing. People like to follow groups so much. This Brexit campaign, this TPUSA campaign, the Republican Party, the Conservative Party, the Democratic Party, the Liberalist Party, whatever it is. Me personally, I align with libertarian values, constitutionalism. I'm a constitutionalist, I guess. I don't know. You know, it's all a blend of everything, but people tend to just want to stick to their guns and say, no, I am this definitively. That's a fucking stupid ass thing to say in general, especially with how everything changes. You know, it was just a couple of years ago that being a far right conservative was almost the total end of the far right spectrum. Nowadays, it's more like center right. So that's why I don't like labels. I like labels in general just to give a brief example of where I'm coming from with things. And yeah, I think I'm more centrist right, with a hint of maybe centrist left at times, but not a lot. More centrist right. I'm not an extreme conservative. That has changed so much. And extreme leftism is its own whole separate story. But now let's go ahead and get back to this Candace Owens. Everybody saw my other video regards to Candace Owens and how Kanye West, Yeezy, whatever his name is, which Flashing Lights is a badass song, I just gotta say. I've been listening to it a little bit on my trip here, and I fucking love it. And if you guys haven't heard it, listen to the Pet Shop Boys. Was That What It Was? Because I think Kanye West stole some of the music from that to make Flashing Lights. Anyways, so back to Candace. Candace, again, if you haven't watched my video, go watch it. Candace has basically been severed ties, or I'm sorry, Kanye has severed ties with Candace Owens. The media came out and said, oh, Trump just lost one of his, sorry, I didn't know the window was open. Trump just lost one of his biggest supporters in Kanye, and the world is going to go, the right is going crazy. Well, Kanye was always a crazy-minded individual to begin with. And to be honest, I think he's probably a little bit more sane than your average Republican, than your average conservative, than most definitely your average Turning Point USA conservative, because he's always said it. You know, it's like I have a broad spectrum of beliefs here, and he lays them out on the table, and now he's supporting a Democratic nominee in, I believe, Illinois, giving them $200,000, a Democrat, because he believes in that person's values. The values that this person has are very, I guess they remind me of Ocasio-Cortez in a way, very socialistic. But anyways, so Kanye, you know, puts $200,000 into this campaign. Again, you can still he's a little bit, he probably has a little bit more of an open mind than the likes of Master Charlie Kirk and crew. And the money grubbers, or the people who listen to their master, Brandon Tatum. Unfortunately, dude, I am not digging you anymore. You know, it has come to that point where I think I've lost almost all respect for you. You seem to be just as hungry for the position that you're in with Turning Point USA to look at the truth of things anymore. Your old videos, you used to do that. You're not doing it today. Sorry, guys, this video is all over the place, but, you know, I'm just kind of venting a little bit about the whole debacle that just happened and everything that's ensued right before these midterms. So, and anyway, so Brandon, I think I'm done with you at this point in time. Everything is just way too commercial for me. Way too commercial to the point where you're going to have one-sided views. And again, you had your defense video of Candace, and you support her without question. And Anthony Brian Logan, man, I out of all the people I did not want to ever downgrade in my life as far as like who I respect and stuff, you were always in my top 3, at least for the last two years. You've been in my top 3 non-stop. I can't, truthfully, I cannot, with you saying that you will stand by Candace because you're with her 100% without question. No. You can't ever do that. You cannot ever do that. If you're going to be a credible source for any sort of information, you cannot stand with a bias like that. You have to have a real eye and see the flaws for what they are and address them, because she is not ever going to get fixed. Not that she ever was, but she will not ever become a better person for growth and for any sort of a movement, which movements are stupid in my opinion, for the most part, because they always fade away. But you will not ever get that far when you coddle somebody like that and not show them the errors of their ways. You're coddling at this point. I expect people who follow me to point out my flaws as well, and maybe provide me with some evidence or information to look at, so that way I can make an informed decision and be like, oh, well, you're right. You know what? I was wrong this whole time. Or if I'm an asshole on something and I shouldn't be, or I lied about something, or I have a view that is not whatever. It's much better when you're able to open up to that person that you love. In this case, you have a relationship with Candace Owens, a working relationship, and a common goal in mind of transferring people from, and I'm going to say it the way that I look at it, transferring the cows and the sheep from the left hand, the liberal party, and transferring those sheep over to the right plantation, the right side of that plantation. So you're just moving them from one corner to the other. It makes no fucking, never understood it, but whatever. They're just cattle being moved around back and forth. And you cattle, I cannot wait for you to open your eyes. I've opened my eyes, I think probably around the 2008 election, a little before that, and I haven't looked back. So, again, I'm short-lived in this understanding a lot of history, but I immerse myself in it every day. I question things all the time. And questioning and being a conspiracy theorist at the same time, it's fun. It makes you never settle for what is appearing as the right answer that's given to you by these pundits, these Candace Owenses, these Brandon Tatumses, these Charlie Kirkses, whatever, Fox News, CNN, HuffPo, all these stupid ass outlets, you got to always question. If you're not going to be a sheep, you have to always keep your eyes out in the open, look for the truth. There's always some sort of bias in there, but there's rarely somebody who's going to come around who's going to say, I question the people closest next to me just as much as I question the people that are against me. And that's what we need in this world if we're going to actually make any sort of change. Just like we need to follow our laws, especially like our border laws, our immigration laws and naturalization laws, if we're ever going to make any sort of a change. We've been so lax on everything, and we allow the people that are in control to make this happen. It's our own fault. So we have to start educating ourselves. We have to start being critical about the people that are even sitting right next to us that we love, and just educate one another. Just display the truth to one another, and just make sure that there's actual progress being made. It's not for a fucking movement, because the TPUSA movement, I knew it was going to be doomed to start from the start. You know, and that's the other thing. Black people, I say this kindly, those that are in this TPUSA thing, and feeling that you have to maybe I don't know, the way that I look at a lot of the black leaders that are attending these conferences are people who have already been on the right, or probably center. I'm going to say probably maybe 3 to 5% of you, maybe 10 were from the left. So maybe Turning Point USA got the influence of some people from the left, showed them maybe some different values between the two sides, which they're really one and the same in most respects, to go to these events and be followers of TPUSA going forward. Again, going from one side of a plantation to another side of a plantation is not progress. The progress is being an individual. The progress is being able to go out there bravely, or however you wish, whether it's on a social media platform, go make your own news station, or I don't know what the fuck ever, or get your news out there somehow that you want to spread this information to your neighborhood, whatever, your local block. You know, you get together weekly or nightly or something, and actually discuss topics openly and honestly, challenge each other to the point where you're at each other's throats, but you know it's for the greater good. That's what's going to make the difference. Not this fucking stupid ass one-sided points. No side has ever lasted such a long time. We have the Republican and Democrat parties here, but I mean, even that's flawed in itself. Then you have these small social movements like Black Lives Matter, Antifa, TPUSA again. It's just ridiculous. Quit trying to get in. I will never, again, never say never, but I do not consider myself part of any group. I am like my own individual, which again, probably why my channel doesn't grow. I don't give a shit. I have awesome ass subscribers. I love them. You know, I think they know the type of person that I am now. I think I have over 150 videos up to this point. They know the type of person that I am. They can probably honestly say, wow, you know, you're an idiot in this video, but I like the way that you look at this section, this subject over here, and they can tolerate it. You know, that's a real person. Okay, I'm not trying to say I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal here. I'm really not. I'm just saying I will not ever cater to what is the word? I'm not going to cater to this forced tribalism of anything. I believe in Americanism, and I believe Americanism is something that can be learned by anybody coming from a third world country, or from America, rich Americans, middle class Americans, poor Americans, uneducated, educated. It's a lifestyle. It's a mentality. It's what makes you you. You know, I don't believe Americanism or being an American has anything to do with white culture, black culture, whatever culture anybody in the fringes thinks it needs to be. Anybody can become an American. Anybody can look at those ideals and say, wow, I never knew this about being an American. I like this. And then they'll look at it a little bit more. This is probably somebody who is a complete, somebody from a third world country who just saw a different way of life and had different cultural values. I mean, they had different beliefs. We can learn, we can change. Fuck, I went from being all the way fucking left where I thought the world owed me, And I remember getting in arguments with my old boyfriend in Spokane. And he was more conservative at that point. He was not a Democrat. And I was a registered Democrat. And we would get into arguments. I'm like, no, the world owes me. You know, I've gone through so much, and I put out so much, and I have to pay this much taxes, and yada yada yada. You know, a dumb man's point of view. And I look back on it, and I'm like, yes, it is a dumb man's point of view, because one thing that the left does not do that the right does a little bit better is they do a little bit more research when it comes to stats and understanding, values, understanding what goes into something, and they just understand a little bit more. They do a little bit more homework. You know, the left, I see just look at talking points for the most part. But you know what? The right is the same now these days as well. You know, they believe Candace Owens in the surface. Going back to Candace here, they believe Candace Owens in the surface, and they're not willing to question it. She's their queen. Their queen. Do you guys really want to live in a fucking... it's just stupid. Why would you guys want a matriarchy, patriarchy, or whatever kind of archies you want? Be yourself. You don't need a fucking leader. You don't need no fucking somebody who represents you. Represent your fucking self. God, that's so weak when you have to have this role model. Look, I follow a lot of people all the time. I have my big names that I love. Probably Styx, Tree of Logic, Truth or Talk, Free to Speak, AJ Illicits. He's an up-and-comer that I hope you guys can subscribe to. That guy is intelligent as fuck. I love the way he's better than me when it comes to impromptu stuff. I'm a shithead when it comes to that. I follow all these smaller named people, medium named people. I don't like people who have any sort of a corporate sponsorship or any type of sponsorship. I know some people have to make money. I know sometimes people do, and so they have to resort to stuff like that. That's fine and dandy. I might do that someday. I don't know. But at the way that I speak on these videos, I probably not. But it's not out of the question if it becomes like a little bit more than a hobby. And if I become better at it. Right now, again, it's just a hobby. So, don't settle for idols. Just start being yourself. You'd be very surprised at I was very scared to be doing this initially, because my views they're all the way out there. I'm like, okay, well, how am I going to make my videos? I'm going to have a studio. I'm going to have this and that. No, you don't. To get on there on camera, do what all these other people do. Get in your car like me or whatever, and just obviously pay attention to the road. But just act like you're talking to the person next to you, and just vent, and then your words can come together. Some of my videos don't do all that great, and they don't sound all that great. Like this one probably doesn't. But just do it. Who the fuck cares? Go out there, express yourself, and then when you look back on your videography, I guess I don't watch my videos after I make them for the most part, but I look at some of the titles. I go back. I'm like, okay, I kind of see that I'm more of a person. I realize what kind of person I am. I'm a person, I think, on YouTube that I want to, more than anything, show that race is nothing more than just the color of your skin. I think we are all beyond that. I think America has evolved. It might have started off being made exclusively for white people, white men in general. A patriarchy, as some might say, some feminists might say. But it has evolved. It is evolving. But one thing throughout, the reason why I'm not with the left is because the evolution doesn't mean putting one class of person over another, one group of people over another. LGBTQ, who I guess I'm a part of because I am a gay man, does not. We do not need no amendments. We do not need any sort of special treatment or clauses or any fucking thing like that. Whether it's from the state or the federal level, we don't need that shit. We don't need it. When we recognize, and we all recognize our laws equally, that we all have equal rights on everything, we don't need that special treatment. We're basically saying that we have to be, we're the queen. We have to be worshipped a little bit higher than your regular average American. We're all regular average Americans. And we all have the exact same rights all across the board. Obviously, the 13th and 14th Amendment are a big topic these days, but again, when we go back to just seeing that it's not about having a queen like Candace Owens, who also has an attitude problem. You can find yourself within yourself without having these heroes, without having any of these idols. I just don't get it. I used to idolize people. I don't these days. I go to them for news and sources. I agree. I sometimes disagree with some of their views. Even the people that I like, nobody is perfect. I'm definitely not perfect. I'm far from it. Far from it. But Candace, she has, from her first stint as, when she was in high school or something, she got a phone call with some racist, a local senator, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a politician's son, and a couple of friends of his called her, left her some messages about her being a black woman, derogatory terms, whatnot. NAACP, I believe, got involved and tried to persuade her to push us further than normal. We got, and then she denounces them later on, which I fell for that trick initially. I fell for that one initially. I got on the bandwagon initially, but again, after a couple weeks, I realized the truth after questioning so much of her social autopsy, the fact that there was actually information being collected on there, private information. Again, go watch some of these videos. From Tree of Logic is an excellent one, exposing social autopsy and the dangers, and Andy Warski's is a great example as well. Both of those videos, go watch them. They'll inform you of what I'm talking about. You have her lying about social autopsy. You have her, when she's being confronted about social autopsy in the Blair White, Dave Rubin show, being confronted about a lot of stuff, actually. She's being a hard-ass biatch, not answering the questions and deflecting. She's good at that, and she's doing it now. She's doing it now with the Kanye thing, saying, oh, I didn't... Everybody's misinterpreting what I said. I never said that Kanye made this stuff, and all the news media is to blame. It's fake news, yada, yada, yada. But then when you go and look at her original stand-up where she's on the podium, go watch the original video. Don't watch the commentary from Fox where she's saying, oh, Kanye's designer. I gotta say, Kanye's designer. She kept saying that over and over again. It seems so rehearsed. Like Master Trailer was saying, make sure you say this on this one, because we can't go back. Go watch the original one where she's on the podium, she's announcing the Brexit hats. And it's not about the t-shirts, it's about the fucking logo. She keeps switching that argument. It's, some people. She's good at deflecting. She's good at making a non-issue. It's just weird. So anyways, yeah, she did say, my dear friend and fellow superhero, like she's a fucking superhero. Give me a fucking break. She's a persuader, and the only people that she's a superhero to are the ones with IQs around 60, my opinion. Anyways, man, mine's probably 80, I don't know. But anyways, she says, my fellow superhero Kanye designed this logo. Specifically said that, and she's saying everybody lies, and then she says that she has to clarify her remarks. Oh, she didn't even say that. She's like, everybody thinks that I said this about Kanye, but I didn't. Yeah, you did, and then now she's gonna brush it off like it's nothing. That's what she's good at, people. She's good at just being an opportunist. She's good at using names. She's good at using people, and then when it comes down to being in arguments, all she does is again evident with I don't like this guy at all, but the Michael Dyson Green, Eric Dyson Tyson, whatever the fuck that stupid long ass word name man is when she had that segment with him, everything was going to left field, made no sense. She didn't want to debate anything. She's just being a whack job and deflecting as a victim. Do conservatives play victims? Answer me that. Do conservatives play victims? Apparently this former SJW does. Apparently so. Anyways, and then with Blair White, where she starts off the conversation in a negative tone. Oh, well, I want people to know that you're a man, and this is how we're going to begin this conversation. This isn't a cat fight or anything. I'm just pointing out that you're really a man. And then it just, Blair for a moment, which I respect Blair, plus or minus. She's kind of like a Kardashian attention whore. She sometimes makes these videos just for the kick in her view count. she's got a market. She's got a market. She's got to do what she's got to do. It is what it is. But for her to, she held her own during that whole debate. But Candace kept deflecting on all the main questions. Again, people, you're looking at somebody who will continue to lie, will continue to do whatever it is, and continue to traverse into different social ideologies, conservatism, the social autopsy thing, doxing. She jumps from one thing to another, being a left wing, and then she makes this super duper fucking cringy video. Mom, Dad, I am a Republican. This is my coming out video. Oh my God. That's when I lost it, when I saw that. And again, it's years ago. God, is it years ago? It seems like this time went by so fast. Yeah, I guess 2 years ago. So she's playing the fame card. She's basically telling Tommy Lauren, hey, your 15 minutes of fame are almost up, girl. Well, no, yours is too. Yours is almost up here as well. Now, let's go back over to the impact this is going to have on the midterms. I don't think it's any. I personally think that there are a lot of people in the TPUSA Black Conservative Summit or Black Conservative followers who actually were already Republican or independent to begin with for the most part. They weren't Democrats. I will say maybe 5%, maximum 10% were probably former Democrats. But I think for the most part it was Republicans in general. I don't have the stats for it, but I don't think they do either. And for them to say they're going to be influencing so many black people, I'm sorry, but when you look at Kanye's sales recently, and this is probably another reason why he's dividing ties with you, because he saw it affecting his sales. That's a rumor. It's a rumor. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's a valid one regarding his lineup, his music, clothing, whatever. Probably taking a hit because of his involvement with Trump. He's looking at this from a marketing standpoint. Yeah, at least that's part of the argument. I'm not sure if I completely buy that, but I kind of do. But I think it's more or less that somebody used his name in vain without checking into him first. It's his name, it's his label, it's his business, and she's using it to profit. And it is what it is. But when you see that something like that happens, and you see that Candace is taking this opportunity to profit from it, question it, people. Just start questioning her. We told you this from the start. If you guys want to keep looking like sheep, that's your deal. It is America. You can be a sheep if you want. You can be a cow if you want. Fuck, you could be a robot that is programmed to follow at will, which you're all doing now. Don't question the queen. Don't question my queen. Whatever. But I think that the resulting issue overall with the midterms here is not going to have a big impact. I do believe the way blacks and Mexicans and the majority of minorities have voted in the past, I do believe the stats are still the same. I believe we're probably going to make 1 or 2 points difference, increase into the Republican Party votes, I guess. But I don't think it's going to be anything crazy. And so with that, I don't think it's a big deal. The only thing that's going to happen here going forward is that TPUSA and Candace Owens are going to have a lot of answering to do, a lot of making up to do if they wish to further their brand. Your brand is tarnished. And you might not think it is right now. You might be on that same plantation that says, oh, from a year ago when I started making these Candace videos, the movement is the movement. It's not going to go away. It's not going to do this. It's not going to do that. Tell me what sheep has come out of this to actually push forward the right-wing narrative. And again, even that, why would you want to push a narrative? Why don't you push for individualism? That's the ultimate in being an American, being an individual. Whether it's liking some sides of the left, liking some sides of the right, or all in between, or whatever. Thinking for yourself, not even just on policy, political lines, but social, personal, lifestyle, etc. It's just ridiculous. I know this video has gone everywhere. It was initially supposed to be just about Candace and the Kanye aftermath and what I thought it was going to take a turn for, and how I thought it was going to impact the midterms. the news overhypes them. Fox overhypes them. The mainstream media overhypes them. You know, when somebody goes from being an independent content creator to going to the mainstream media, it's pathetic, in my opinion. You got bought and sold. I will stop following you if you do that. I will stop following myself if I have to do that. Because there's a certain air of ingenuity, not ingenuity, of being disingenuous when you make that transition. You know, who else? Who was the one that helped Candace come out of that limelight after her social autopsy debacle? Who was it? Oh yeah, it was Mike Cernovich, I believe, and I haven't taken too kindly to any of his antics after that either. You know, he's kind of hard to trust at certain times. I like some of his views, but you don't know. You have to do a little bit of research, and I don't know. You have to really question everybody. Just even me. Again, I'm just an opinionated guy who's probably 80 IQ. I don't know what the fuck I am, but I'm making these videos to point out some things. I have my views about a lot of things. I have my views about illegal immigration. I've seen how it hurts. I've seen how it hurts from all sides. Again, having somebody close to me have their information stolen. And guess where that information is going to go? Oh, these illegal immigrants, they do pay taxes. They do pay taxes off of whose fucking socials, people. Or under the table. Under the table doesn't pay taxes. Oh, but they pay taxes when they buy and do whatever here in America. You need to go to McDonald's and buy their fast food and shit. And, you know, pay for their apartments and stuff. Whatever. Well, that's the only. We pay a lot more in taxes. It's starting to be a burden when you know that they're actually able to get health care and more they get more hospital visits than I do. And then they send the money back home. It makes absolutely no fucking sense. What are you supporting? You think it's human? It's having a humanitarian heart. Oh, you guys are just people like you, Roger. You guys are just so despicable because you don't have a heart. I have a heart, and you know what having a heart means? Tough love. It means tough love. So are you saying that it's okay to just run from your country, Venezuela? Run from your country when they've done everything that they can there? You know, hyperinflation, one resource economy there, not having any sort of backups. You think it's okay for them to just leave the country and just get the hell out and start taking advantage of ours? No, I think not. This video has gone on long enough, you guys. I think I want to go ahead and stop here. What are you guys' thoughts on this Candace thing? The girl is a crazy biatch, in my opinion, and I'm so glad to see what's happening. One other thing, Tree of Logic, your stance on all this has been justified. And I'm very glad to have stuck with you from the beginning, seeing all the stuff that was dished out, and the truth coming out very slowly. The sheep will still not listen, but some people with open minds will. Good job on that. All right, everybody, peace out.